Hello, entrepreneurship. Just trying to give you a little more information on the break-even analysis. So we're going to go through this. We talked about commission per unit. We also talked about direct materials per unit. These are the things that it costs to actually make your product. Some of you may not have these because you're not making anything. So then you might, in some cases, be shipping something because you're a delivery service. So that's how much it would cost to ship per unit. Then you got to talk about the supplies that you would have around, not that make it per se, but the supplies you would have around to do some ancillary things or some extra things like even your toilet paper to your the tape that's run through your cash register, the software that you have to purchase to run your accounting stuff, all of those little things, those little details, the cost per unit on those. How much is that going to amount up to? Think about the expense it would cost over a year, and then divide it by 365, whatever you purchase. And after that, it's probably going to go away or it's going to depreciate and you can continue to use it, or you may have to update or upgrade. And some of those are variable costs that you'll have to deal with too, like as far as computer systems especially, you might have to upgrade those over time. But that's what goes here in this supplies per unit. You can also come up with some other variable costs maybe that you have specially designed for your particular business. But that's up to you. You'll have to figure that out. Then you have the total variable costs per unit. They just kind of bring it down here too, bring it on the outside. It looks like they have it in both places. So that's going to be comparable to your sales, but we also got to look at, it looks like unit contribution margin. So what does that mean? In the gross margin, what does that mean to you guys? So this one's kind of difficult. When you're talking about a contribution, how is it contributing to the actual cost of the product? Is there some parts of these costs that don't actually contribute to the making of what you're trying to do? And what I would suggest to you here is I would just make it, it's kind of hard. Your businesses are so different. I tell you what, why don't we save this for Monday? Because then I can deal with each one of you on an individual basis, because I don't think this is something I want to take the time to really break down right now. If you want to try and figure out yourself, that's up to you, but I'd be happy to talk to you about it on Monday and not have this be a 15-minute video, because that's what it would turn out to be. All right, let's go down to fixed costs. I think that would be a little bit easier for you to deal with. So you got some administrative costs. These are the people who make a salary. We did wage workers up here with this commission per unit, but then you're going to have some people that you have to pay. You're also going to have some documentation that you might have to take care of as well, as far as licensing and some of those things that you have to pay for. That's going to go right here. Those are fixed costs. They're things you pay every year. Then you also have insurance that you pay for your business every year. How much is that going to cost? You might go to a website and see if you can get an estimate, or you can guess, kind of up to you. It's usually based on how big your building is and what you're trying to insure. Then you have property taxes. Again, you can calculate property tax in Wichita just by telling them what the square footage and the value of the business is. I'm pretty sure there's a calculator out there you can use to calculate your property tax per month. The rent, if you're renting a building, some of you are planning on working out of your home, so you wouldn't have to deal with that. You can leave that at zero. Some other fixed costs. If you find some other things that are going to happen all the time, maybe you're going to have cable in your business. Maybe you're going to have a cell phone bill that's consistent. Those kinds of things could also be included in your fixed costs. Maybe utilities, water bill. They kind of go back and forth. It kind of depends on what you're using the utilities for, as far as a fixed cost is concerned. Sometimes those can be variable depending on the year, the time of the year and the month. So you can decide what you want to do with that. But that ultimately brings you to a total amount of costs. And once you get to that number, you're going to have a net profit. How do you find a net profit? Well, you take your sales up here and you subtract out all of your costs. And it looks like they're going to end up with $4,000 left over. So they took $7,600 plus $3,400 and subtracted $1,500 from that. And it looks like they have $4,000 left. So you're projecting to make, in this case, they're projecting to make $4,000 in the period that they're talking about. Let's assume it's a month. So $4,000 a month they're going to make above all their costs and who they pay. So that technically, if I'm the business owner, that would be my salary. Now I want you to consider this. if you have 4 people in your group, your salary is you're each getting $1,000. Okay, but then you also have to decide: am I going to invest some of that profit back into the business? Am I going to try and do more, or does that just directly go to me and the people I'm working with? So really, really try to consider that. Um, there's a little, you can break down some pieces of information down here and you can kind of look at them. The sales volume per period on units. You can look at sales price per unit. Obviously, that was $15 in this case. You can look at fixed costs per period, and they're all the same. Fixed should be the same. It's a fixed cost for a reason. The variable cost looks like over time they multiply or they double, and they just add to each other over time. The fixed, they stay the same regardless. They're going to be that same steady amount. Then you got your total cost, your total sales, and it looks like the break-even point, based on the information I've input, occurs right here. We were still in the negatives, still operating in the negatives right here, and right here looks like sales volume per period. We need to sell at least 500 units to break even and make a little bit of money. Okay, probably in the 450 range actually, because you got a negative 440 here and a positive 300 here. So when you're looking at this chart, really look at this last row here, and you can see where you break even. Okay, I did include a chart. If you want to blow that up or make it bigger, you can see what your percentage of costs are, like what you're spending most of your money on. And I think that's a valuable thing to kind of check out. I'm going to try and grow this thing a little bit. See if I can't grow this too. I don't know if it's just going to move on me or what. Nope. I'll just leave it at that. But commission per unit looks to be like the first one. Looks like 26.3% is my commission per unit. And you can go around the wheel and see what the things are. Obviously, I don't have anything in these identified yet, but I could. So I would encourage you to take a look at that as well. It looks like one of these is shipping and one of these is supplies. Once you're done with that, you're done with your break-even analysis, and you can start projecting what you would make based on this kind of information. And then my question to you would, or the question you would want to ask is this reasonable? Is this realistic? Okay. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. I encourage you to continue to generate more questions. Look at your marketing stuff as well. You will have one more day. We will practice on Monday, but you have one more day to tidy up the ship and get ready for your presentation on Tuesday. Additionally, please put your permission slips on my desk next to my computer, and I will pick those up tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday. I will go through them. Anybody who does not have theirs today, you can bring it on Monday, but I must have those by, I would like them today. That's why I gave them to you and told you to get them back to me. But if it takes till Monday, I can deal with that. Other than that, have a great day. I'll see you at the game tonight if you're going. Go Lions. Have a good day.